Good morning and welcome to our monthly Ninja Skill Booster. This month we are tackling the topic of delegation. This is one that's completely, I guess a passion for me. I absolutely love talking about delegation and the reasons why we need to delegate more for multiple reasons. So looking forward to sharing the content with you today. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge the Darkinjung lands and the Darkinjung people of my area that I'm coming to you from today. Please feel free to do your own acknowledgement in the chat box if you would like to. I pay respects to elders past, present and emerging, and very, very thankful to be here today on Darkinjung land, which is Central Coast north of Sydney. And let's get into the content. Thanks so much for joining me. My name is Julie. I am a ninja here at Think Productive, and we love talking about this stuff. Some of you already know me. You know that we're nerds in this area. We love it. So please keep in touch. And if you'd like to follow us on the socials, every few days we post just little tips and tools that are very useful. This month our focus has been delegation. So if you need any reminders for from today's session, please feel free to jump on the socials and check those out too. At Think Productive, our mission is to help everyone love Mondays. We're after a bit of a revolution here so that everyone enjoys going to work on Mondays and feeling like they're getting some balance and some sense of well-being at the same time as being hugely productive. So that's our mission. And again, if you'd like to chat about it with us, we love talking about this stuff. So do get in touch. The content I'm going to share with you today, the thought process that I would love to encourage you to go on a bit of a journey with me today is from the content of our Delegate Like a Productivity Ninja workshop. And the goal here in delegation is about empowering our teams and reclaiming our time too. The idea that we can't do it all is fundamental to some of our productivity training, and really focusing in on doing the right things that is really the focus and importance of this. So let's get into it. What we're going to cover today. I'm going to talk about why delegation is great. Really important to understand why it's so awesome and empowering. Why you need to delegate really well. It's something that we sometimes as leaders really restrict ourselves on and kind of avoid doing, and how to delegate like a ninja. So I'm going to give you some top tips and tools, again, straight from our workshop, so that we can have that kind of feeling that delegation becomes easier, becomes part of our skill set. So firstly, I wanted to open up the chat box and ask you please to put something in the chat box. What stops you from delegating? What stops you? I just love your first thoughts. A few words in the chat box. Could be one word, could be a sentence, could be a couple of sentences. What stops you from delegating? Time, too busy, passion, time, thinking I haven't been specific enough, wanting to do it yourself, ownership, time it takes to explain things, Kim, absolutely. There's a few of those, yes, time taken to explain, you need to explain it, it's just easier to do it myself, how to delegate, I don't know how to, the workload of our team, this one's really interesting. The idea that our team are just so busy already, that they really are struggling with, should I delegate down? Not being senior enough, interesting. Hopefully challenge that a little bit for you today. Everyone can delegate really well. And we can also ask for things to be delegated to us. If we don't feel we're senior enough, or if our role means that we can help support others, maybe we ask for people to delegate stuff to us. And that's equally valid here. Yes, awesome. Passion stuff already overloaded, time to explain, that's coming through a lot. Not sure they would take it well, okay. Getting it out of my head, being able to articulate it well enough, knowing sometimes I'll have to do the task again when I delegate to someone else, sometimes did they get it? How do we make sure that we are really clear on that? Okay, seems weird to delegate, which will be my case, but it's welcome. Okay, Kim, awesome, thank you. Great. Okay, lots and lots of thoughts there, all of which are valid. I wanted to just say that, all of these are really valid. Delegating up does sound weird, but it's really important that we know how to manage our managers sometimes, our leaders, in order to help them to be more productive too. So we'll touch on that a little bit. And Anna Carolina, fear to overload people who already have a large workload. Really, really common. Okay, well, let's get into some things that you might find useful in just changing our mindset, our thinking around this process of delegation. Now, simply put, delegation is giving things to people to do and making sure they do them. I find that a really dry definition and not really inspiring or empowering. Empowering? Is that the word? Empowering? But yeah, simply put, that is it. But I want to challenge your thinking on this a little bit today, because there are some really important things that you need to think about why delegation is so great beyond just the somebody else does stuff that I don't have time for. These are the really important things to manage. It does free up your time. It allows you to get focused on things that really are meaningful, things that are going to make a difference. So that's a very important part of that, simple definition. It will free up your time to do the meaningful work. But it also has this ability to create a growth mindset in others. We can improve the skill set and the development potential of our teams, of our people. And often they're craving this, yet we say, oh, they've got too much to do. I don't think that, they would do it as well as I can. But this is about instilling a growth mindset across the organization, allowing others to upskill, succession planning, talent management, all of these things that we really need to be focusing in on. This helps. Delegation and delegating well will improve the skill sets of those around you. It also has the power to establish a culture of trust. And we know that this is a really, really important part of building our business cultures, our organizational cultures. The idea that we trust our teams, especially in this hybrid working environment that most of us are now working in, we need trust. We need to believe that our people are as capable as we are. And often as leaders, we need to let go of this sense of control, allow our teams to blossom and to grow in a way that establishes trust. So I really want you to think about this. Delegation is a way to show your team that you trust them, to show them that you believe in them, and that there's an opportunity for growth here. And last but not least, and this is fundamental to everything we teach through our Ninja workshops, is we want to build an organization of thinkers. Yeah, we talk a lot about boss thinking. We want people to be great thinkers. We want them to have the opportunity to do the work. In the full session of our delegation workshop, we spent a lot of time on this, thinking about how we empower others to think well, rather than thinking we have to hold it all here and we gradually give it out as it's needed. We want to empower everyone to be a thinker in the organization. And often as leaders, we need to really think about the fact that we try to hold on to kind of control of where information flows, but others might actually have the information somewhere else in the organization. And we don't need to know everything that they know. Yeah, we can let that organic thinking happen and push down the responsibility for others to do work that they are better equipped to do than you are. So I really want you to think about these benefits. I'm going to keep coming back to these as we go through the session. And the other thing that we need to bear in mind as leaders, as team heads of teams, as managers, as organizers, that there are a couple of realities. You've got way too much to do everything. Yeah, way too much. And as Grace Marshall, one of our ninjas in the UK, says, trying to do everything really will ruin your productivity. So this is, fundamentally, if you want to get more done, if you want to get the right stuff done, you need to let go and you need to delegate well. And the second part of this, the other reality that I want you to think about, is that we all live now in this really interruption-heavy environment. Yeah. And what we tend to be doing is we react. We get really reactive. And the more we react, the less we do. So we're just doing the things that come across the desk, the things that shout the loudest. Yeah. And we need to make sure that in delegating, we are really clear about how to stop that reactivity, making sure that we focus on what's really going to make a difference. So we can step out of that reactivity a little bit when we've got a bit more thinking space, when we've delegated a few things. we can start to think about being proactive and organising the work that matters to be done. And think about this too, in this interruption heavy environment. The channels that you use to do your job are the channels that prevent you from doing your job. So if you've got, Teams chats on, you've got your phone going off, you've got instant messages happening, you've got meetings, you've got emails, you've got all of this stuff happening that's meant to help you do your work, but it can just create more and more confusion and clutter. So it's really important to be able to take a step back from that and make space for doing the work well and also delegating well. So I want you to really focus in on those areas as well. So how to delegate like a ninja. There are two things that I want to mention today that I would love for you to think about changing your mindset on in terms of delegation. When we delegate as a leader, as a manager, when we start to delegate well, it allows us to get our head up out of that reactivity and all the clutter and confusion. And we can keep an eye on the bigger picture, not just the detail. And this is our role as leaders. We want to be, as a leader, someone that's going to help guide the team to take them forward towards our objectives, towards our mission, towards our values, and help us to keep that view of the bigger world in focus so that we know where we're heading towards. This again builds our culture, it builds trust. Yeah. When we're down in the dirty, down in the detail as leaders, we start to appear as a micromanager. We start to appear as someone that just says, just do this, without giving a clear view of the direction that we're heading in. So as a leader, as a team leader, say as a manager, we really want to be able to step back. And I challenge you today to think about this. When we try to do it all, it's very hard to stay focused on the bigger picture. So think about stepping back, delegating the things that you know your team are really capable of, that you don't have to hold on to, so that you can give them this vision, this view. And it starts to reset things. The second mindset shift that I would love for you to think about is what we call intent-based leadership. This is a switch from, we've got all these things to do, let's just get them done, to thinking about, where are we at? What is the intention here? What are the outcomes that we need to generate this week, this month, this year? And this will be really, again, very strategic view, a bigger picture view. When we do this, when we take an intent-based leadership approach and we focus on outcomes, it shifts the focus away from just we're turning up, we're sitting here from 9 to 5, whether that be in the same physical space or in the virtual world, and we're just getting stuff done. So switching our thinking to, what outcomes is it that I need to generate? What are the outcomes my team need to generate? What are our objectives? What are our goals? How do we ensure that those are achieved? And am I the best person to hold on to all of those things? Or, can I delegate some of this? So I'm going to pause now and give you a couple of minutes. I just want you to spend maybe 2 minutes thinking about, what outcomes could you delegate right now? Feel free, if you want to pop some in the chat box, but this is just going to be 2 minutes for you to have some thinking time. I'm going to set a little alarm for 2 minutes for you to do that thinking. So just have a think. If you need to flick to your to-do lists, your diary, have a look at those things, but don't get lost in your emails. 2 minutes. I'm going to just pause quietly to let you think. Okay, that's just about 2 minutes. Time does fly on these little short Ninja skill boosters. But I hope that that starts you thinking about just exploring, what is it that I can delegate? What are my team better at than me? What are the things that are holding us back as a team? Because ultimately, we're the blocker. Yeah. If we hold on to everything, we're going to slow things down. So it's very important to think about, what can I delegate? What outcomes can I delegate? Any thoughts? Please pop them in the chat box if you'd like to. Now, Mutia, I think is the way I may pronounce your name. You're going to delegate your to-do list, your checklists for meetings and action plans. Okay, so around meetings specifically. Yeah, setting up, delegate things like, attending meetings. Delegate things like, if your team are actually more capable than you of presenting information in a meeting, let them go. You don't need to maybe attend unless you're supporting them. Yeah, even things like taking minutes in meetings, delegate it. Setting up action plans out of meetings, delegate it. Let others be empowered to do this. Printing class resources, Kelly. Yes, awesome. Simple things that you can just get off your plate, get them done by someone else so that you can step back and really start to take this leadership role. It's very important. Great, thank you. Keep thinking on that, and I want to sort of gradually help you along that journey. Hold your hand of, being comfortable to delegate. Here's a little tool that you might find useful to help you when you're thinking about delegation and letting go a little bit of control. I love this fried egg analogy. It's the one that resonates most strongly in the workshop when we do the full session as well. It's really simple, but just helps us as leaders to let go a little bit. So the idea here is that we can set some boundaries. Now, if you think about, you're going to delegate a task to one of your team, and you want to say to them, I trust you, you're off and running, get going. And they say, but how can I make decisions here? Where should I reach some kind of middle ground to make sure that we are really clear on whose responsibility it is? So the first section, the yolk of the egg, it's your choice what to do within this boundary. Do what you think is best, and I'm going to support your decision. So this would be tasks that, really comfortable with. So Kelly's example, printing class resources, go for your life, just go do it. You don't need me to oversee this. I've given you a brief. I've given you a really clear brief. That's one of the very important parts of delegation, is being really clear on what it is we're delegating. And you can go for your life here. I'm going to support you. Within the white of the egg, this one's really important. If you move into this area, check with me first, and we can agree a way forward. So yeah, Kim's put another example there, collating and assessing data. Go for your life, you go do it. But maybe when you've got all that data together, we need to sit down and actually have a look at it, go through it, review it together. Yeah, that would be a good example here in the white of the egg as well. If you're moving into this area, there's some areas that we probably want you to just check in with us on. And outside of the egg, don't go past here. Yeah, give some real clear boundaries. You can't make a decision here without me. Yeah, that's going to be something you need to bring back to me, bring back to the team, so that we can discuss next steps or how to move forward. So when we're delegating, have a really clear idea of what is it I'm delegating. Yeah, what are the kind of check-in points I want my team to have with me, and where's their decision-making kind of boundaries in this area. So have a look at the egg analogy. That will really help you to do that. Another area that I wanted to mention that's absolutely critical when we're thinking about delegating and delegating well is really knowing our people. Know your team inside out if you can, really get to understand their strengths, their soft spots, the areas that they're passionate about, the things that they would love experiencing, their ambitions, their aspirations, so that when opportunities arise to delegate, you know exactly the right person to choose. This is a great image of our team in the UK that pulled this together for us. We've got certain skills that are unique to us and certain interests, passions, things like, Neil at the back, we don't give Neil any press inquiries. He's just not comfortable speaking. Yeah, that's a really important thing to know. Where do I not push work, but where do I push work that I need to get done, where I can delegate? Katie is really, really keen to be a great conference organizer. So when we're organizing our next team event, I'm going to go to Katie. Yeah, be really, really clear. For me, I've mentioned this in other things, I don't like Excel very much, whereas Jessica loves Excel. I know who to go to. I know who to get help from in specific areas. In the full session, we spend time really getting to know our people. We create what's called a living document where we detail some of these things. What do I love? What am I not so in love with? And what am I passionate about? What am I really looking for opportunities for growth in? When we know this about our team, we can start to really delegate successfully and encourage that growth mindset we talked about, the opportunity to upskill. So I'm going to give you 2 more minutes to think about this. You'd started to think about what you could delegate, which outcomes you could delegate. I'm going to give you 2 minutes. And again, feel free to pop any comments or thoughts in the chat box. But who can you delegate to? What will you delegate? Yeah, to those people as well. If you can start to map this out for yourself. So I'll give you 2 minutes again. Just have a think about this. The timer is on. Feel free to ask any questions or pop any thoughts into the chat box as well. Okay, again, another very fast moving 2 minutes. I hope that was useful time for you just to think through who and what tasks you might delegate to them. I see some great comments. So students, Vicky, delegate to the students. And Catherine mentioned sometimes difficult to delegate the thankless tasks that no one's particularly good at nor likes. Yeah, I think though the idea of divide and conquer, if you can, the thankless tasks though, I would say also, if you can't delegate, can you delete them? Can you defer them? Can you find some other way of doing them? Yeah, rather than just say delegating them and people going, yeah, hate that one. But yeah, sometimes we have to divide and conquer. We can all do a little bit of that thankless task. And Kelly's saying delegate to the TA, the teacher's assistants. Beautiful. Really awesome to think through this idea of what outcome am I going to delegate? Who am I going to delegate it to? And can I give them a really clear view of what it is that we want them to come back with, what outcome, yeah, so that they can move with clarity. They know exactly their responsibility and where they can make decisions and where they need to come back to you and check in. It's a really simple process. Awesome. Thank you so much. That's really great to hear the feedback. So remember, this is why delegation is so great. It will free up your time. And it empowers our team. We get this growth mindset going. We get improved skills and development, and we establish a culture of trust. And most importantly, we build this organization of thinkers. We are not the only ones that can direct traffic. Yeah, we can empower others to actually do the thinking. So this is a very fast 30 minutes. It is just a flavour, a touch on what we do in our full session. If you would like to get in touch about that, please do. But also just take action now. I would love to inspire you to just do a little bit of personal reflection, either in the last couple of minutes of this session or later today. Think about, what will I do now? What will I do differently? How will I empower my team and create a really great environment for delegation? So think that one through. Again, pop something in the chat box if you want to be held accountable. I know we're not going to check in with you, each of you, but do think about popping something in the chat box. When we write things down, it sticks. It becomes more ingrained in our psyche and the way we want to operate moving forward. So yeah, please pop something in the chat box. Thank you so much for joining me. I wanted to wrap up with a little giveaway. We have been doing these in our monthly sessions, a bit of a surprise giveaway this month. We're actually going to give away 3 copies of our How to Be a Productivity Ninja book. So we've been giving away our Work Fuel book. This month, we're going to give away the Productivity Ninja book, because this is going to link into our next Ninja Skill Booster next month, which is on the weekly review, which is included in here. So please feel free to email us if you would like to be in the running to win one of the copies here, hello@thinkproductive.com.au, and put in the subject line, I want to be a ninja, and we will put you in the draw to win a copy of the book. Please keep in touch, as I said. If you've got questions, I'll hang on the line just for a second longer at the end of the workshop. But we do have some amazing new leadership workshop programs that we've just launched this year that we are finding are really resonating strongly with teams. So get in touch if you'd like to know more about delegation or any of the other topics. And thank you so much. It's been really a great pleasure to have you here. I'm finishing 3 minutes early today so I can pause for questions. And I will just read through. We've got some great comments in the chat box. So Greg is saying that he won't feel guilty when he delegates. Think of it as an opportunity to grow. Fantastic. And Catherine, I'm going to be clearer on where the boundaries are in terms of decision making for those who are delegate to. Fabulous. And Sam, I'll map out the team's strengths, interests, and dislikes to explore how I can delegate and build a team. Yes, fantastic. Kaylee's saying, think more about who I can delegate to and set clear boundaries. Yeah. And Jen, thanks for the food for thought. No problems at all. Wonderful. Thank you, everyone. Thanks so much for joining. And I'm so glad to hear that, Kim. Delegating is no longer something to fear. Fantastic. Wonderful. Well, have a great day. Please keep in touch. And I look forward to seeing you at our next Ninja Skill Booster in June. Take care and have a great week.